What is going on, you guys? The Keith Carnes here, back with a new episode of Criminal Mind Talk. And, yeah, let's get it started. So this week we're talking about probably the most infamous crime figure in history, none other than the infamous Al Capone, who died in 1947. Al Capone, as most of you probably know, was an extremely big figure back in his days of criminal operations. He was behind robberies and prostitution. Basically, that was his specialties. He was behind robberies, and he also was involved in the prostitution circuit, as well as being known to have been responsible for, bribing public figures and all that kind of stuff. He was expelled from school at the age of only 14, as he was becoming involved in crime, in the criminal lifestyle. He was expelled from school at 14. And pretty much Al Capone, he rose up and took advantage of what he could, and actually went on to be known at that time, back in his days, as being a modern day, at the time of course, Robin Hood. Now, the reason people called him a modern day Robin Hood was simply because he would take some of the money he stole and got from doing illegal stuff like prostitution and smuggling alcohol, which is what I forgot to also put out there. He would pretty much just take all the loot that he got, the money, and he would take some of it and he would donate it to charities, which is what made people think that he was a good person, but in reality he really wasn't. I think Al Capone had a good side to him. I don't think he should be looked at as one of the most evil people in the world. Definitely not. I don't think he compares to a lot of the criminals I've put on here on my on this series. But Al Capone, in the end, he was a criminal. And really, what hurt Al Capone's what hurt his public figure of being, maybe he's kind of a good guy. He's a kind of a good but bad guy at the same time, was he was supposedly involved in the 1927 St. Valentine's Day massacre, when 7 of his rival gang members were executed. Obviously he was suspected in that because the people executed were people that were rivals of Al Capone's, enemies, so to speak, which would explain why people, and understandably so, why people believed Al Capone played a role in it. Okay, I'm gonna have to correct myself. I actually made a mistake. I said he did robberies. I guess he didn't. I misread that. So he was pretty much known for smuggling and illegal narcotics, such as at the time liquor was illegal here in the United States. And as I said before, prostitution and bribery. He was arrested in 1931 for tax evasion and sentenced to federal prison on the now well-known, no longer operational Alcatraz in San Francisco, California. He was he later died. He deteriorated physically but also mentally from the disease he had, known as, God, I hate pronouncing diseases. They are so hard to pronounce. It was called neurosyphilis, something like that. I could be wrong on that pronunciation, but you can just Google it yourself if you're that interested. And it ended up killing him after he went into cardiac arrest after suffering a stroke in 1947. He was only 48 years old. So that's basically it. Al Capone, he did a lot of bad stuff, but he also did some good. Definitely a historical figure that I don't believe anybody will forget about anytime soon. And I think he'll always be in the history books. I think 300 years from today, when I've been dead for centuries, I think they'll still be talking about Al Capone in some aspect. that's about it, you guys. This is Keith Carnes. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, as it's one of the last. Yeah, it's one of the last. I have one more episode left for... No, I'm sorry. I have 2 more after this. God, don't hurt yourself, Keith. So this is going to be one of the last episodes of the month. I mean, of the year. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for all the support that you guys have given me. Thank you for all the views, even though they're not much. They matter to me. And I guess it's going to be about it. So I will see you guys tomorrow with a new episode of Which is Better. And guess that's about it. So you guys take care, and I will see you the next. Peace.